Please join me in saying Yasher Koach to Adi Rabinowitz for leading us in the Haftarah and in Musaf today beautifully. It is good to see so many of you. An early Happy New Year to all of you. This Shabbat, we are blessed in what is a bittersweet reality. The bitterness is the circumstances that bring Maya and Devere and Ziv Rosenfeld to our congregation. The sweetness is in the opportunity for all of you who haven't already to spend a little bit of time with them, to learn with them and about them, and to feel their spirit and to hear their story. They're going to talk to us about why they're here in America and about the events of October 7th in their community and more particularly for their home and their family. And without further ado, it is my great honor to invite forward to our bima on this Shabbat two people who I am proud now to call my friends, Maya and Devere Rosenfeld. The real light of Maya and Devere are, of course, their baby Ziv, who I think is outside playing with the other babies right now, but he's going to make an entrance in a minute. So we're all going to enjoy him as well. But in the meantime, we want to welcome his parents up to the bima and say Bruchim Bara'im to you. So without further ado, Maya and Devere, please. I'm going to have you guys share a microphone. Is that it? Okay. Baruch haba. Before we begin, I have a few presents for you. First is when we were in Israel, I know we gave you one of these kippot that you're wearing. You brought it all the way from Israel. This one is for your Abba. So I want you to give it to your Abba. We met him when we were in Shvaim, and you should wear it in good health and know that your whole family is welcome here. Maya, this is for you. This is the same dome that's on the kippah, but in a scarf. And we want you to have it to always know of your connection to our shul. And most importantly, this is for baby Ziv. That he should know that he can have a bar mitzvah here at Temple Emmanuel in 12 years at the help of God, a good bib for him, and you'll always know of your connection.
Thank you so much.
As I was saying to everybody, the circumstances that caused us to meet the first time and the second time and the third time were painful and are painful. It's the reason why you're here. The sweetness is that we all get a chance to meet you, to know you, to learn about you, and you're amazing people, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But you live in Kfar Aza. Your home is in Kfar Aza. You had just come home from vacation a day and a half before October the 7th. And if it's okay with everyone, can you tell us a little bit about that morning?
So first, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And thank you for having us. It's a great honor. We just came back from a vacation. It was our first vacation in South Africa. We've been there for 2 weeks and just... landed like less than 48 hours before. That morning, I'll do it briefly. That morning was started as just like another escalation, I would say. Escalation. Our term, like escalation for us, is when Gaza, either the Hamas or any other organization, is shooting rockets into Israel. To our region. Not only to our region, it's like started slowly along the years to get closer and closer to the center and also to Jerusalem. So we woke up not very early because of Ziv, but the rockets started to fall before even the alarm started. And I went out.
But we woke up before that. We woke up.
This proves that they're indeed married.
First thing we found out that our memory is not so good in trying to recall all the events. It's been a lot. It was 30 hours, which were like much longer, and you have no time, you have no timeline because it was dark. We had no electricity. We had no light, nothing, so it's very hard to remember what happened and when, so you're going to see it every now and then. But we woke up earlier. Ziv was actually up all night, and we were up for a few nights already because, like you said, we came back from South Africa on a night flight. So Ziv was up all night, and at one point I woke Dvir up, and I told him, that's it, I've had it, I'm always waking up, why don't you wake up, you need to wake up. So then Dvir started to get dressed, like usually in Shabbat morning in the kibbutz. Dvir would get up, take Ziv for a walk.
All the fathers. all the fathers just
Yeah.
wake up and take the kids out.
It's their weekly meeting. All the fathers are meeting around 7 in the morning, like in the square, in the circle near the Cheder Ochel. So he started to wake up and to get dressed, and he got Ziv organized, and he wanted to take him out for a walk, so he can give me a chance to sleep a bit more. And I thought it was much earlier, so I told him, no, what are you doing? He needs to sleep. Dvir, of course, knows I'm always right, so he stayed at home and he didn't go. He just got back into bed.
Get into arguments on Saturday.
No, yeah.
So this was, I guess it was like a few minutes after 6 or 15 minutes after 6, because very quickly everything began. Like maybe 10 or 15 minutes after that, we started to hear the rockets falling, and it was very different because there was no red alert. We have a red alert whenever there's rockets. There was no red alert, but we can hear them like right above us, right on our house. So straight we got into the safe room.
Yeah, and also the numbers, like usually it's like, I don't know, like 10, 20, 50, 100 rockets in like a day or 2 or 3. That morning it's already started like hundreds on hundreds on hundreds. In total it was like more than 2,000 rockets they shot that day. So, and usually when it happens, we get into to the safe room, to the mamad. And safe room in Israel, it's not like here, like a panic room or a shelter under the ground. It's just another room in the house, just made out of thicker concrete, the walls and the ceiling, with a special window and special door. So you get there, and also it's like the kids' room or the office or something like that. So in our house, it was Ziv's room, and usually like you go and pack a bag, you go up north or to the center or to Elat or wherever, wait for the whole thing to come down, and you go back home. So I told Maya to start packing, and I went out to bring the dogs. And one of them was on the leash, so I brought her in, but the other one was free, so probably ran away because of all the noises and the explosions. And I found myself like standing outside in the garden, calling him for about 10 minutes, but then I realized that he's not coming, so I went back home and I left the door wide open. 2 or 3 weeks later, we met in Shfaim, one of our neighbors, and he came and hugged me, and he was like, I can't believe you're alive. It's like, what, why, what's going on? It's like, I was also outside, I saw you calling the dog, and then someone told me that there are terrorists in the kibbutz, so I went into to my safe room, his, and when I came to close the metal window, I saw this in the same spot, like after 30 seconds, in the same spot I saw you calling the dogs, I saw 5 terrorists. So probably because I left the door open for the dog, they thought that someone was already in our house and they were skipped to the neighbor. So they robbed everything outside, but they didn't get in, luckily. We got these messages from people around, especially from Maya's friends in the girls groups and in the WhatsApp, that they're hearing shooting, automatic weapons, and they screaming in Arabic and stuff. And I was like, no, I live in the kibbutz for 40 years. There's no way that it can happen here. Like, you know, we have the obstacle, we have this, we have that, we have the army. There's no way it's happening. And after like less than 5 minutes, we started to hear Arabic just outside of our window. And we realized that the explosions we heard, it's not only the rockets, it's the hand grenades and RPGs and automatic weapons. And in Israel, you don't shoot on automatic mode. And also in the army, you're learning the sounds of the Kalashnikov, the AK-47. So you realize that this time it's something else. And you're starting to get those messages from everyone around, like, I got shot, I need help, they shot my wife in the head, she's dying in front of the kids, they're burning me alive in my house, so all kinds of messages. And kibbutz is a really tiny place. It's like our community is around 900 people, some of them being in Kfar Aza. So most of the messages are from friends and people that, like 50, 100 meters away from you, and you're just stuck in the safe room. You can't go out and help. Like Maya said, after 15, 20 minutes, the electricity fell, so we didn't have lights or aircon. We couldn't charge our phones. We didn't have water or food or toilets or nothing, just nothing. We've been there in our house for 24 hours. And then they took us to a place just nearby, to a different safe room, to collect people, because they didn't have enough armed cars to take out each and every one or each and every family. So they just put like 15, 20 people together, and then one of the trucks took us out. So there we were another 5 or 6 hours. So in total we were 30 hours in the kibbutz till they took us out, the army.
I just want to say two things. When they took us out from our house, they took us by foot. Now, I don't know if you know that, but in Kfar Aza, they were still fighting until Tuesday. So when they took us by foot, we were walking maybe a distance from this side to that side of the shul with soldiers. Dvir was holding Ziv, I was holding our small dog, one of the soldiers was holding our big dog, and we took some bags that we packed like really quickly. And it took us maybe 20 minutes to walk this distance because there was still fire. They were shooting at us, so they kept telling us, get down, and you're with your baby, you're walking outside your house and you're in a battlefield. And all the time, what Vir was just telling, I know some of you have been to Kfar Aza, so our house is really next to where the young people live, the youth, Dor Tzair, which is the area that got hit the most, unfortunately. You now see that they call it the passage of hell or something, hell path.
Just to give you all an idea, it's an area where once you finish the army and you're kind of getting integrated back into life, they have these almost like studio apartments, the little kitchenettes and places where people who lived on the kibbutz or a family on the kibbutz, they come and they start their lives there. It happens to be that those rows of those apartments happen to be the closest to the fence in Gaza. So they were the most hit and destroyed. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. And also in that area, they live by themselves. So it's much easier and the terrorists knew what they're doing, right? They knew exactly where they're going. They had maps and everything. So I think everything was intentional. But anyway, our house was right on the way to there. So from the beginning, the back of our safe room, like the wall of our safe room and the window is on the way there. So we were in the safe room. We felt kind of safe from the entrance to the house. We didn't know we had terrorists at the entrance to the house, but our entrance is a back entrance, so we thought they're not going to find it. But the whole time there was a very heavy fighting going on our safe room wall. The fighting didn't stop, like until 3 a.m, I think. It didn't even calm down. There was explosions, things kept exploding on our wall. They shot on our safe room window all the time. You can hear like the bullets just hit the window, and you smell a burnt smell. All the time you smell a burnt smell. After that, we realized that they burned the house right in front of us. And I don't know how to explain you this, because just try to imagine you're in your baby's room, it's your firstborn child. You put so much effort into this room. Like Dvir and I just remembered on how he scrubbed the whole walls and painted everything, and all the furniture and everything you pick, and you're so like you just, this is like the best place in the world, right? And all of a sudden it becomes the most dangerous place on earth, the most terrifying place on earth, and you're sitting there and you can't believe what's going on, and you keep on getting these messages, and soon we're going to also tell about what happened to Dvir's sister. You keep on getting these messages. At one point, one of the people in charge of the house renting in the kibbutz sent a message to all the kibbutz, listen, they're burning the houses in order to try to get you out of the safe rooms. So if they're burning your house, stay inside the house. It's better to get a little bit burned than to be caught by the Hamas. So we were looking at each other and we were like, it's a situation that nobody ever prepared you. Like, what are we supposed to do if they burn our house? Like, so we kept, and you smell the burn, so, and you don't know, is my house burning or not? So we kept on touching the walls, the floor, just to see if it's burning, just to see, is it hot? How will I know if my house is burning? Or at one point we got this message, a text message from the security forces or something, that said, the IDF is going to bomb in the kibbutz, so find shelter in your safe rooms. And we were looking at each other, how are we supposed to hide from an Air Force attack? Like, what are we supposed to do? It's nothing that, we know what to do if the Hamas is shooting missiles, but if, I don't know, if a pilot is going to drop a bomb on my house, what would I? So you were just in this unbelievable situation, and we really didn't know what to do.
So let me ask you this question, because this is a good starting point. You're talking about your nuclear family. You have this brand new baby, and beautiful and sweet, and just a normal Shabbat morning. But you are one of 5 children, right, Dvir? Six children, excuse me. You're one of 6 children. Your parents live on the kibbutz, and how many of the 6 of you live on the kibbutz?
So we're
on October the 7th?
We were my parents and 4 of us.
So 4 of you lived on the kibbutz as well. So 4 of the 6 of you live on the kibbutz, and you're not only thinking about you, but you're a child, you're an adult child, you're thinking about your parents, you're thinking about your siblings, you're thinking about all the others. Talk to us a little bit about the communication you had with them. And some of us know the story of your sister, many of us don't.
So it's my parents arrived at the kibbutz in their 20s and stayed. We were 6 brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest. After me, there are 4 sisters and another brother. The 2 bachelors lives in Tel Aviv. 4 of us, the married, live in the kibbutz with my parents. Each and every one of us have his own house. We have 9 nephews, cousins, between 4 of us. The 5 babies born in the last, in 8 months, in the last year and a half. So we started to chat on the family WhatsApp group, and everyone answered. But we realized that Adar, which is the youngest among the 4 sisters, is not answering since the last message she wrote was 5 minutes to 7, and she wrote something like, how delighted I am to be stuck in the safe room with 2 diapers, 2 full diapers.
She was the mother of twins.
Yeah, she is the mother of twins.
Twins are 1 month younger than Ziv.
Yeah.
1 month younger than Ziv.
So Ziv was 11 months that day, and they were 10 months. And they didn't answer. And so we told ourselves whatever we needed just not to think of the worst. Because last time, like 6 months before, when it was another escalation, they were actually fell asleep for 4 hours. They didn't answer us for 4 hours, and then they just wrote, "Oh, sorry, we fell asleep," while they're shooting the rockets. around noon time, like we were still keeping texting to our first response team, trying to save forces. Our first response team is 12 people from the kibbutz. That only 2 of them stayed on their feet. 3 got seriously injured and 7 died. So we tried to send forces to them and also to my other sisters, because in one of my sister's house they got in once through a grenade on the safe room door, and also shot all over the house. Another sister, they came in twice. First time the terrorists came in, also threw grenade and shot all over. They stayed there to use the toilets, to grab food from the kids' snacks drawer. They had like kind of a breakfast in their house while they're in the shelter, in the safe room. Then the army came and gave them water, but they couldn't take them out, so they left. And after half an hour, the terrorists came back again to their house. And all of this is from just, we knew it from messages. And around noontime, one of the guys from the first response team, he was Hadar's neighbor, and he also the brother of one of the kidnapped guys from our kibbutz that got shot by the IDF. He wrote us, guys, I went back home because they realized it's only 2 of them are fighting against, I don't know, like 300-400 terrorists. So he went back to his wife and his girls. And he wrote us, sorry, I saw the door open. An empty magazine, AK-47 magazine on the stairs, and I hear the twins are crying. We kept texting our friends from the IDF, from the Secret Service, the Shabak, send them the location so they go and try and rescue them. We kept getting messages from people around that they're here, babies crying. I realized, because I know each and every one where he lives, and so all of them were lived around my sister's house. So it means that the twins are crying. In the meanwhile, we heard that this friend, like childhood friend, got shot, and they got bombed, and they got burned, and it's not only like our family. Like we also lost my cousin that day, and a lot of childhood friends. Anyway, around evening time, like we got this phone call from Maya's friend from the Shabak, and he told us, guys, it's very complicated. It's very dangerous. Prepare yourself to spend the night in the safe room, because we're really trying, but we can't get even close to you. So probably we'll get to you to rescue only tomorrow morning. And it was already after 10 hours that we were there. Maya is holding Ziv, the dummy is on the mouth, just like in the Holocaust, a hand on his mouth on the dummy so he won't make any noises. Around the evening, 8:30, something like that.
But all the time, it's important to say that all the time, first of all, Dvir was holding the safe room door all the time for more than 20 hours. But all the time, we were texting. People kept on sending these messages on the WhatsApp group, and we just forwarded the messages to everybody we know from the IDF or whatever. And we kept on asking, why isn't anybody going to the twins? Somebody needs to go there. There's 2 babies crying. And as Dvir said, we were worried about his other sister. And they kept on telling us, listen, it's very complicated. The situation is very complicated. This is going in Be'eri, this is going here. And I think we understood that we were not under the not under Israel anymore. Like it became pretty obvious that Hamas has taken control because we kept on hearing the terrorists, and then every now and then we would hear a tank. At the beginning, when you hear a tank, you say, "Oh, okay, that's it. We're saved, right? The IDF is here. We're okay." But then we heard the tank. It was quiet, maybe a few bombs he shot. It was quiet for 10 minutes. And then again, you hear the terrorists again. So after this happens 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you understand that the IDF isn't taking control on the situation. And that's it. Like we're not in Israel anymore. So we understood things were very complicated.
So let me just add for those of you, to give you a little context, there were about 650 people in a community of 900 there for the weekend because it was a holiday and Shabbat. And
It was like the elderly trip that...
in some way on a like a Shabbaton, like a program.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, we think a terrorist, we think there's 2 or 3 or 10. There were between 300 and 400 Hamas terrorists in Kfar Aza alone.
They collected, Zaka told us, they collected 252 bodies of terrorists just in our kibbutz. And it's not including the guys that kidnapped people and went back, and the ones who came to steal and left and went back, or the terrorists that came, did what they did and continued to different places, other places.
And there were so many civilians from Gaza who just crossed the border. We saw the videos. You can just see them like it's, I don't know.
They called this looting. So just hundreds of people came in and looted, took bicycles and cars and televisions and anything they could and just walked it across back the border.
They not just looted, they also kidnapped people because Hamas has promised them an apartment and $10,000 for every Israeli they kidnapped. And whatever they couldn't loot, like they tried to steal our tractors and they couldn't because they were really like tied and secured, so they just burned it. So it's not including them. And we also thought maybe it's 5 terrorists, 10 terrorists, no one could believe any of that. And even at one point, when we kept on calling the forces and asking them to go and save the twins, and nobody saved the twins, Dvir told me at one point, okay, that's it, I'm going to save the twins. That he thought also that, okay, now they're here, now they're there, I can go from this and there. And I told him, no, you're not, because if you're going, it's a suicide mission. Your kid is going to grow up without a dad. So this day was full of very hard decisions we had to make and very hard choices that we didn't know if they're right or wrong and how we would live with them, because at that point, we didn't know that the twins are going to survive. I didn't know if he will ever forgive me for saying that, but everybody just did what they had to do, I think.
So around 8:30, we got this phone call from Maya's friend, the one from the Shabak, and he told us, guys, the twins are out, they are safe and sound.
14 hours.
After 14 hours, they were alone. And we asked him about my sister and her husband, like what about Adar and Itai, bless you. And so he told us they are not on the abducted list. That was the answer. Like, what do you mean? I don't know, they are not on the abducted list. And my brother, he lived in Tel Aviv, and once he realized that he can't help physically because it's far away, so he started to, he opened like kind of an operation room in his house, and connected between the forces, like the armed forces in the kibbutz, like the IDF or the special units and all of them, and the messages from all the WhatsApp groups from the kibbutz, like locations, who lives where, what's going on each house, how you can get to each house, because a kibbutz is not like, for example, here you have this street names and house numbers, and when you order pizza, he comes to your place, ring the bell, you say thank you, and enjoying the pizza. In the kibbutz, if I order a pizza, and I'm not gonna go and meet him, he can go with the pizza for 2 hours and not to find the house. So my brother rang me like 15, 20 minutes after Maya's friend rang us and told us, guys, it's confirmed that Dara and Itai are not with us anymore. They are dead. So straight away, like, we took like a minute or two, to just to cry, and then. But then it's like you get back to this automatic survival mode, and we start to make to check to which hospital they took the twins, and Maya started to make lists and organize baby chairs for their cars. So we told them, my brother and my sister, start driving south from Tel Aviv. We'll figure out in which hospital the twins are, and stop here, stop there, take like car seats for the twins, and because we grew all the babies together, basically, so they knew in which nipple they use, which formula, which dummy, which diaper, whatever. And they drove into so the twins want to get into the child service and to meet them in the hospital. I don't know if we fell asleep or just passed out, because the safe room designs to bombs, and also like for chemical bombs, so it means that there's no air inside. It's like basically it's sealed. And because there was no electricity, so there was no aircon. So basically we woke up, we opened our eyes at around 5:30 in the morning.
Wait. This happened after we discovered about Dvir's sister at around 9. And like Dvir said, there was no electricity, so slowly our phones were dying. So I think around midnight we lost communication with the world. We had no air, nothing. It was a very hot day. We were actually lying on the floor just to keep ourselves a bit cold. And I think we got pretty desperate at one point, knowing about Adar and Itai, and we knew that there were great losses. We didn't know how great, but we kept on telling to each other, wow, things are going to be bad when this is all over, huh? We're going to find out that things are bad. So I think around 3 a.m.
We lost connection with.
Also, after losing connection with Adar and Itai, we also lost connection with another sister of Dvir that now she has the twins with her. She is married and she has 3 kids, and she's a very responsible woman. So it was very unlike her to just disappear and not write, my battery is dying or something like that. So we lost connection with her also at one point, and we were also telling to each other, things don't look good there. I was sure we're not going to see her or her kids anymore. And again, with Dvir's another younger sister that we also lost connection with her. So like slowly, things got really sad and desperate, I think. And around 3 in the morning also, the combat calmed down a little bit around outside our window. And we just fell asleep, collapsed. I don't know. Again, I don't know what to say, what happened. The soldiers went into our house at 5:30 in the morning, almost 24 hours after it all began. And they found us just lying on the floor, all 3 of us, and the dog.
We opened our eyes with weapons in our faces. Luckily, it was the soldiers, but they found 3 of us just on the floor. I don't know if we passed out or fell asleep, or like we didn't have air. We didn't sleep for 3 nights in a row.
Told us to pack.
Yeah, they told us you have 2 minutes to pack. So what do you take in 2 minutes? So we just left the home with Ziv's bag and 2 plastic bags.
And it was also like packing in the dark.
Yeah.
In the dark, and when they're still, I went. Of course, this time I've decided to be very efficient. When we came back from South Africa, I unpacked our suitcases. So, and I did all the washing and everything.
Usually it takes a month like, you know.
We live out of the suitcases for a few weeks, but no, this time I was efficient. So I went, and I still had all my washing folded on the couch. So I went to the living room to get some of my washing, like to put some things in the bags, but there's windows above the couch. And I thought, okay, I have soldiers in my house, I'm safe, right? Like, it's the IDF, the best army in the world. But they told me, no, what are you doing? Get down, there's still terrorists outside, you can't be in the window. So you're just grabbing random stuff and putting them into plastic bags, especially like Ziv stuff, of course, formula, diapers, dummies, bottles. Once we got out, it was all like when we met the other people from the kibbutz. After a few hours, we all met outside the kibbutz in the petrol station, how ironically. So then we just immediately we gave away all of our bottles because there were people there that didn't even feed their kids for 24 hours, so we had to give them the bottles. We had to give them stuff to feed the kids immediately. So it was crazy.
Yeah, so in general, we lost that day 63 members from our community and 18 kidnapped. We got back 11. 11 kidnapped came back to us. Unfortunately, two of them, another two out of the 18, got shot in Gaza. So we have now 65 dead, and 5 out of the 129 people that are still there in Gaza, 5 of them are from our kibbutz.
Maybe we could just say a few words.
Please.
You know, if you just want to understand, 10% of the kibbutz are gone. We were around 900 people, so 80 something, I think. So just an example from Ziv's daycare. We keep on saying kindergarten. Ziv's daycare had 14 kids in it. One of his caregivers is dead. Her sister, which was also a caregiver, was abducted and she came back. That's the Goldstein family. Their father was also murdered. Their mother and 2 younger brothers were also kidnapped and came back. The main caregiver, Sharon, her husband was the head of the first response team. He was murdered. From the kids, one family, a baby that is 1.5 years old at that time, and her 2 parents were burnt alive. They survived, luckily, but they were a very long time in intensive care. Hadar and Itai, of course, and the twins, which they lost their parents. Another girl that lost her grandparents that were buried in their not burnt, they were shot in their home. Another two kids who their dads died in the first response team. I think this is all. This is just out of one group of 14 kids. So you can imagine how it hits everyone in the kibbutz. And about our abducted people, we don't say hostage. We say abducted people because they are not hostages. They are not soldiers who are in a battle. They were just civilians that were in their homes, and they were taken from their beds. One of them is Kit Sigal. He's an American citizen. He's the dad of very close friends of Dvir. His wife was also kidnapped and she came back. And for me, I can't really understand how can America not it's an American citizen. Another 2 are Ziv and Gali, 27, 26-year-old twins, boys. And another 2 young women, Doron and Emily, who are both supposed to come back on the last, they kidnapped, they had these deals with Hamas. Each time we gave back terrorists with blood on their hands, and they gave back women and children. So on the last deal, it was supposed to be a group of young women. And Doron and Emily were supposed to come back on that group. And we don't know why, but in the last minute, Hamas has broke the deal. It didn't went through with the deal. And we've heard from people coming back what's going on there, how they treat the abducted people, especially how they treat the women and the horrible things they're going through. So we can only imagine, and we're very, very worried. Why won't they release these kidnapped women? Why don't they want the world to know? Why are they afraid to let them go? So I think the main reason we came to the States is we came here originally on a delegation to the Congress. We met with congressmen and women and with senators and everyone. And we just told them, these are civilians that were just taken from their beds on Shabbat morning. Like, everyone needs to imagine that you wake up in a Shabbat morning and you have to hide underneath your bed or whatever, and somebody just comes and takes you from your house to Gaza. These people need to come back. We don't care how. We don't care what's the price. We don't care what we need to pay. We don't care what needs to be done. These people need to come back. And what we're asking from you and from everyone we're talking to is do whatever you can to make this the top priority, to keep this on the agenda of everyone. Like, if you know people with any connections, I don't know, call your congressman, call your representative, call the White House. We know there's a number of the White House. Do whatever you can to keep this on the top priority, because now, it's Christmas, it's New Year's, people are going on their holidays, they're going to come back, maybe they will forget it, but we still have 129 people, civilians in Gaza that need to come back home. So please don't forget this.
I once wrote that I remember losing one of my kids in the grocery store, about 20 seconds. And it was the longest 20 seconds of my life. I can't even begin to imagine what parents and children and brothers and sisters are feeling with these horrible emotions. I have two more questions for you. People who've never been to Kfar Aza will think, why in the world would you live on the border of Gaza? And you guys have a phrase about Kfar Aza that I'd like you to share, number one. Number two is, there's a painful irony. And that is, and Barry Weiss, I know, spoke to you about this. The painful irony is that there were so many Shalom Achshav stickers and so many peaceniks who lived in Kfar Aza, people who believed in the future of a homogeneous and bilateral relationship. And so many times you and others from your kibbutzim would go to the border to bring people over, and we learned some very terrible things from some of those results. Could you talk about that for a few minutes with us? I'm going to give you both these.
First we had this saying that Kfar Aza, or all over the area, is 95% heaven and 5% hell. Because when it wasn't an escalation, it was paradise. It was open fields, everything was green, everything was really safe. We didn't lock the doors. Like when
crime.
When we realized that there are terrorists outside, and I told Maya, okay, I'm going to lock the door. We looked at each other. It's like, where's the key? We don't even have a key to our house. Maya always telling that her credit card is all bent over. She's saying it's because of the sun. I know that's because...
No, I used to just leave everything in the car, like right on the seat, so my credit card got bent from the sun. It was really like the kindergartens was open, the bicycles were just thrown, nobody locked. It was really the safest, it felt like the safest place on earth. And in 1 minute, it just became hell.
When I was a kid, we were going to Gaza, like to fix our cars, to get our furnitures, to eat, to do shopping. They used to come and work in our kibbutz. The Muslim holidays, we used to go and do with them. The hot Jewish holidays, they used to come and do with us. Like the border was not even like a fence that separated. It was 95% heaven, and also people kept friendships for many years, and we realized that with all the hatred and everything, and all the escalations and everything that other people from other places had, we understood that, they're not going to go anywhere, and we are not going to go anywhere. It's a fact. Like, they can't wipe us out, and we can wipe them out. We're going to stay, if you like it or not, from both sides.
No, but also I think we thought, not just because you can't wipe them out, but I think we thought, like, at the end of the day, the plain civilian in Gaza wants the same thing that I want. To care for his kids, to bring food home, to work. And so we believed, like, okay, there can be peace. Maybe they just need to change their leadership or something, but there can be peace. And we actually felt sorry for them. Each time there was an escalation, we weren't feeling sorry for ourselves. We were feeling sorry, like, how many kids are dying there, and it's such a waste. Nothing is going on with this. Like,
and also, because the facts, the Hamas doesn't let them leave their houses. They use them as human shield. The army is doing his best to let people know before he's bombing. But what's going on inside. So yeah, people felt bad about it. People wanted peace because this is our house. We are just 2.5 kilometers from there.
But I think like in the past year, it was also like the best year for Gaza, because they had first thing so much trucks with aid, building materials, food, medicine went in, and we saw it because we live 3 kilometers from there. We saw the trucks. There was a traffic jam each morning at the entrance to Gaza, and there was so much money going in there. It's sad to say, but we say that Israel paid for this October 7th.
Paid because we
just transferred.
Like with kids that you buy the quiet with candies or stuff, and then it's blowing in your face. It's the same. We try to buy the quiet.
But they used everything we gave them not to build Gaza, but to build the undercity of Gaza. And also, in the past year, they had the most working permits. So again, this was like a thought that if you will give them jobs, they can provide, they can earn decent money, they won't have a reason to want to hurt you.
And in the end
but then, unfortunately, a lot of the dead terrorists that were found in our kibbutz and in all the places were found with the permits on their bodies, and they had all this inside information, which was for sure coming from people who worked in the kibbutz. So I think it's very hard now, like, to stay with these. We're trying to think about these things, and we're trying to think about Hamas is using them, and Hamas is like, we always say that the Palestinians are the first victims of Hamas. But it's very hard to think about it now after you see the parade of the kidnapped people going into Gaza, and after you see what
it's not only a few hundreds terrorists that came in. It's like thousands of civilians that came in also across the border and did things that you can't forget, you can't forgive. There's no excuses to what civilians did.
Civilians are keeping hostages in their homes. Civilians are, like they told us, a family with babies is just guarding kidnapped people. And I think one story that shows it the most, I think I told you that yesterday. One of the kibbutz members, she's a photographer. And she was a very peace activist, and she was in touch with this guy in Gaza, which was also a photographer and was also a peace activist. So they did a joint exhibition of their photography, like each one took pictures of the other side of the border, and it was like an exhibition for peace and whatever, and they were like really peace people. Again, we were all like that, okay? And then all of a sudden, she tells a story that on October 7, he started to call her, and he didn't ask her how she was. He asked her, where are you? Do you know where's the army? Do you know where are their forces? Like, he started to try to get information from her, and she just hung up the phone, and she understood that he's Hamas. And again, this is someone that was with her for peace.
Mia Shem, who was one of the the abductees who was returned, she had a line in the New York Times this week that struck me. And she said exactly what you just said, which is there are no innocent civilians in Gaza right now. And I think that that is a recalibration that is needed. There might be a few, but there are very few. And any of those people who hit the old people, who spit on them, who came over and looted, who put things on fire, they're not innocent. And to claim them as innocent is really a crime. Here's my last question to both of you. You have been through a nightmare that we can't imagine, we don't want to imagine. Talk to us about hope. Talk to us about future. Talk to us about things that will remind us that the state of Israel will be okay, and that we will be strong, and that there is good that has come as a result of this, if there is what to share. If there's not, it's okay. That's okay. I want an honest answer. But I'm curious to know what we can close on that is hopeful and that you can look forward to with a sense of tikva.
So we as a family lost everything. The biggest price we paid, obviously, is my sister, my cousin, my sister's husband, also loads of childhood friends, but we also lost 5 houses. Everything, basically everything. Like whatever. This is one of Maya's friends' father gave me. It's like seriously nothing. 2 plastic bags, and I'm talking about like 5 different houses, like all of our family. We found out that we are not working. We are refugees in our own country, and no one knows what's going to be like if and when we'll have a place to go back to. No one can tell us what's going to be with Gaza, so we don't even start thinking of the future of what I'm going to do when I'm going to go back to work. We're happy that we have Ziv or the other young kids, because it's what makes you wake up in the morning and hold yourself together during the day, and to take care of my parents. We found out that the individuals, like the private people, private companies, that the communities in Israel and around the world are amazing as individuals, as people. The warmth, the hearts, the whatever the people are doing, not necessarily money, or also coming and supporting and volunteering, and it's amazing. And we should keep it. We should keep it. Unfortunately, this is what woke us up as a world, as Jewish communities, as even here I see and hear that the Jewish Americans and the Israelis became one, and the amount of the people that are coming and supporting is amazing. I don't have any good words to say about Israel as a state, as a government. Nothing, zero. But I have the hope is the people that we discovered there, the people that are coming, rising and basically managing the country. Achim Laneshek and all those other organizations, especially from here in America. Which is
just read that the Jewish community in the United States, I think, raised over $1 billion, which is like an unprecedented amount. That's crazy, and all the it's
the people as individuals, and you guys are among them. This is the hope. This is our hope, like the people, the individuals, not the country, unfortunately. And I hope this, if you're saying if what good will come out of it, I hope this thing will teach us how to do things right. And I'm not talking politics wise. I'm talking, but just like between us, between people, take care of each other, help each other, reach an arm instead of, face your back to people who need help. So there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of חוסר ודאות, uncertainty. As us, as a young family, as a clan, I would say, or as a community. But also there's a big hope.
I think if I may add one sentence to what Vir said, I think what's so hard with this situation, besides losing all these people we've lost, is Chorban Habayit. Like our house was demolished. Not just our house, not just our things, but the place we live in, it's not there anymore. And you can't go back, and you won't be able to go back for the next 2 to 5 years. So I think the whole future, it's not just that they ruin now, they've ruined our future. Like we had a full plan on how to grow the kids and where we're going to live and what we're going to do. Everything was already planned, and the kibbutz was growing. They were just building a new neighborhood. So many people want to come back to the kibbutz that there was actually a waiting list to be a member of the kibbutz. They were building a new school for kids with special needs. They were redoing the pool. Like everything was growing, and all of a sudden, everything stopped, and everyone needs to think again what they're going to do with their lives, and who will go back and who won't go back, and what will you do if you won't go back, and what about the family? The family wants to stay together. What about the friends? So it's so many questions, and like Dvir said, it's so uncertain. But I think I just want to emphasize one thing, that when we just got out on October 8th, you wouldn't have recognized us. We weren't like we're today. We couldn't speak, we couldn't do anything. And just everyone gave us such a hug. Like we were in a place called Srigim. This is where we buried Adar and Itai. This is where we set Shiva for a month. The community there just hugged us. They came. They brought us. First of all, they gave us a house. They equipped the house within a few hours. They gave us clothes. They gave us food. They came and cleaned the house. They gave us whatever we needed. And it just keeps on going ever since. Even when we came to the States, people are opening their homes. People we don't know are giving us these crazy homes and crazy, like, spoiling us so much. And now it's like, it's really, it's luxury. But at the beginning, we couldn't have done anything without this hug. We couldn't have gone one step forward without the help we got from the people in Israel and outside of Israel. So we just want to say thank you for everyone.
Even you. It started as I got this phone call of look, there's a group that are coming. Can you do me a favor and please come over to speak for half an hour? It's like, yeah, why not? And I met very nice people. I met you and the group you brought with you. And it was like a hard, but also very good chat. I think it did good for both sides. And then a few weeks later, I got this phone call again. It's like, look, they asked for you. So if you, it's like, I remember only good thing from them. And when we realized that we're coming and we've been in touch, so it was clear to me that if we're coming to New York, I'll come to say hi and see you all. So it's a bit crazy to say it, but yeah, if you're trying to look for good things that came out of it, I would, you know what, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to meet you, but I'll give up on everything just, to give me back my old problems, and I'll be the happiest man on earth. But there's a lot of good things that came out of it if we're already here in this situation.
There's a teaching in the Torah that says that the day after the destruction of the temple, the Mashiach was born. And it reminds us that after tragedy, there is hope. And I want to say two things to you. When I first met you with the first group, afterwards I felt this connection like you just spoke about. And when I brought our synagogue group, we felt that connection. And I think we all, as a community, the rabbis and the synagogue group said, we want to adopt the Rosenfeld family. We love the Rosenfeld family, and we did a lot of that out of empathy because our heart hurt for you. And it still does hurt for you. However, now, hi cutie, bring him on up.
Zivi.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We had a great time.
Thank you.
Now I think all of us still want to adopt the three of you, but it's not only out of empathy, it's because we have grown to know you and to love you. And when I say this, I say it on behalf of everyone here, and I say it from the depths of our heart, that this will always be a part of your home. You will always have a home here.
Thank you.
I hope that your home will eventually be in Kfar Aza, that it will be rebuilt and you can live there as a family. But in the interim, you need to know that you have a home and you have a family here forever and for always, and that we will always love you. We love you because you're part of us, and we love you because of who you are, and because we will always stand together, and that's the most important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. So I'm gonna ask that we do something we don't traditionally do, but I think it's important. I'm gonna ask everyone to rise and let's sing Hatikva together, because I think it's important for us to have some hope, and then I'm gonna ask Adi to come on up and conclude our services.
Thank you so much.
Kolot balevav penima, nefesh Yehudi homiyam, vatei mizrach kadima, ayin letzion sofiyam. We're going to remain standing as we're going to go right to the Aleinu. I want to invite the Gray family forward to open the Ark for us. I know they have your site this week for Dora. And we're going to have Rosenfeld join as well to open the Ark, have the kavod of opening the Ark for us for Aleinu. And we're going to remain standing as Adi is going to lead us.
Zivi.